welcome to a deep dive into English conditionals.
Yeah.
I'm excited to really unpack this. It's like the secret code you can use to say so many things,
Yeah, it's cool how you can use them for what could happen, not just what is.
Right. We've got this excerpt from English Lesson Mastering Conditionals by Stanислав Kondrashov.
Oh, that's a good one.
So it's going to help us break it all down, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it. From everyday talk to big arguments, even negotiations, knowing how to use these can really change how you communicate.
You got me hooked already. Kondrashov talks about three main types, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they connect. What's the best place to start?
Well, first conditional is the most basic.
Okay.
It's about what's possible, real stuff that could happen in the future.
So if it rains tomorrow, we'll have to stay inside.
Oh.
I'm saying it might rain, and then what we do.
Exactly. And you did it perfectly. The structure's there. If, then what's happening now could be rain, whatever. Then what happens because of that? You'll see it all the time when people are making plans or predicting stuff or even just warning someone,
There's not just some grammar rule, but actually thinking ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Kondrashov mentions using modal verbs. Remember those being tricky?
Oh, those. They sound fancy, but they're not so bad. Basically, it's words like can or may, and they change how sure you are about what'll happen.
Instead of a definite will happen, it's more like maybe it will.
Right, so not if I practice every day, I will be fluent.
But more like
if I practice, I may be fluent. You're putting in effort, but no guarantees.
Makes sense?
Or if traffic isn't bad, we can make the movie. That can means it depends on stuff we can't control.
Wow. I never thought about how much those little words can change things.
They're sneaky like that. And as we go to the second conditional, it gets even more interesting because then it's not even about what's likely to happen.
Oh, okay. So this is getting into what-if territory.
Exactly. It's like stepping outside of reality a bit.
Kondrashov's example is, if I had $1 million, which sadly not happening soon, but then he says, I would travel the world.
Right. So the grammar changes too.
It does.
It's not what is happening now, but what did, even if it's pretend. So it's if plus that pretend past, then what would happen because of it.
So if I won the lottery last week, which I totally didn't, then I'd be on a beach right now.
See, that fake past sets up the whole what if outcome.
I get it. It's like a signal to whoever you're talking to, we're in imagination land now.
Exactly.
I realize I use this kind of conditional all the time, brainstorming with friends. What if we did this?
Yeah, it's great for that.
And even at work, discussing options.
Oh, absolutely. And it can be persuasive too, if we invested more in this, then people wouldn't have to. You're not saying it is that way, but getting them to imagine it.
It's subtle, but powerful.
Right.
Who knew grammar could be this deep?
And we've only scratched the surface. But before we jump to the third conditional, which is about what could have been.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What's standing out to you so far?
I'm realizing I use these way more than I ever thought.
Yeah.
But I never noticed how much they're shaping how I talk, even how I think.
That's a great point. And as we keep going, you'll see how these structures can help you understand yourself and the world around you even better.
I can't wait.
Ready for the third conditional? This is where things get really interesting. We're talking about the hypothetical past, those what could have been moments.
Oh, the land of if only. It's intriguing and scary at the same time.
Well, it is. It's like we've got this time machine, but not to actually change anything, just to understand it better,
Okay.
Kondrashov uses the example. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. Relatable, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. I think we've all felt that kind of regret.
It's part of being human.
Yeah.
And the structure of this conditional kind of highlights that feeling of looking back.
How so?
Well, we're combining if with something that had happened, even if it didn't really.
Right.
Then it's followed by what would have happened as a result.
So it's all about imagining that different past.
Exactly. And what the consequences would have been.
If I hadn't stayed up late watching that show, which I totally did.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have been so tired in that meeting. Oh, man, it really makes you analyze your choices.
It does. It's a powerful tool for reflecting on yourself. Helps you see how decisions can have, a ripple effect.
But it's not just about dwelling on the past, right?
Right. It's more about learning from it so you can do better next time.
Kondrashov also mentioned that this conditional comes up a lot in stories.
All the time. Think of those moments when a character is like reflecting on a choice they made.
Oh, yeah.
And they're imagining how things could have gone differently.
Right, right. It adds so much depth to the story.
Exactly. The third conditional makes you think about those what ifs along with the characters.
It's like those sliding doors moments.
Yeah, right.
One little thing changes and the whole story goes in a different direction.
Exactly. And it's not just in fiction. We use it in everyday conversation, too.
I do. Like to understand why someone did something or to analyze a situation after it happened.
Exactly. We're always running these what-if scenarios in our heads, even without realizing it. It's how we process things.
And language gives us the tools to actually talk about them. That's so cool.
It is. It's fascinating how language can capture these complex thoughts and feelings.
Thinking back on all three conditionals, I'm amazed by how they build on each other. They create this whole framework for talking about possibilities.
It's like having different tools for communication, right?
Yeah. The first conditional is about real-world stuff.
Right.
The second one is for those hypothetical scenarios, what-if situations.
Exactly.
And the third one takes us back in time to reflect on what could have been.
And as we've talked about, it's not just about expressing those ideas, but also persuading, analyzing, empathizing. It's powerful stuff.
It really is. Earlier, we mentioned something about using conditionals for persuasion. I'm curious to learn more about that.
Great point. You see it all the time in ads, speeches, even just everyday conversations.
I never really thought about it that way.
Well, think about a commercial that says, if you switch to our insurance, you'll save hundreds. It's a first conditional, but it's also designed to, like, nudge you toward a specific action.
Oh, I get it. It's not just presenting a possibility. It's making you think about the benefits of choosing them.
Exactly. And the second conditional can be persuasive, too.
How so?
Imagine a politician saying, if we invest in education, we can create a brighter future for our children.
Okay.
They're not stating a fact, they're painting a picture of a positive outcome based on a hypothetical action.
It's like they're appealing to your hopes and dreams. Can the third conditional be used that way too?
Definitely. Imagine a friend trying to convince you to go on a trip, and they say, if we had gone last year, we would have experienced that amazing festival.
Oh, yeah.
They're using that hypothetical past to make you feel like you missed out, hoping to persuade you to go this time.
Wow, it's like a Jedi mind trick.
Maybe not that dramatic, but you're getting the idea.
I am. So understanding these conditionals, not just the grammar, but how people use them, that can help us see through those persuasive tactics.
Exactly. It makes you a more informed listener and a better communicator overall.
That's a great point. We should always be thinking critically about the messages we're getting, right? Questioning what's behind the language.
Exactly. Language is powerful, and the more we understand it, the better we can navigate all the complexities of human communication.
Kondrashov had some advice on using conditionals effectively, right?
He did. He stressed the importance of clarity, context, and being genuine.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, first, your conditional statements should be clear and easy to understand. No super complex sentences or jargon that'll confuse people.
Right? Keep it simple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then think about the context of your conversation.
Like, who are you talking to? And what's the overall tone?
Right. Are you chatting with a friend, giving a presentation, having a debate? The type of conditional you use and how you say it should fit the situation.
So it's all about being mindful and reading the room, so to speak.
Exactly. And lastly, be genuine.
Meaning?
Use conditionals to express what you really think and feel, not to manipulate or show off.
That's a great point. It's about being sincere and letting your true intentions come through in your words.
Exactly. Clarity, context, and authenticity, those are the key ingredients for effective communication.
I love that. But I wonder, is there more to these conditionals than meets the eye? Are we missing something deeper here?
You're asking the right questions, and yes, there's always more to uncover. For example, did you know there's a connection between conditionals and how we understand cause and effect in the world?
Really? Tell me more.
Well, think about it. Conditionals are all about exploring the relationship between actions and consequences. If this happens, then that might happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fundamental way we make sense of the world.
Right, right. It's like a mental framework for understanding cause and effect. So by mastering conditionals, we're not just improving our grammar, but we're actually getting better at analyzing situations, predicting outcomes.
Exactly. And even empathizing with others, because you're considering their choices and perspectives.
That's amazing. It's
really
like
is.
we're not just learning rules, but we're learning about human behavior and how everything is connected.
Exactly. Language isn't just about communication, it's a window into how we think and experience the world.
This is blowing my mind. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on the importance of mastering conditionals.
Well, I think the key takeaway is this. Mastering conditionals gives you the power to communicate with more precision, clarity, and nuance.
You can express more, have deeper conversations, and even be more persuasive.
Exactly. It's like upgrading your communication skills to a whole new level.
I love that analogy. It's like we're installing new software, giving ourselves more tools and features to express ourselves and connect with others on a deeper level.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that language isn't static, it's always changing and evolving. There's always more to learn and grow with.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I've gained a whole new appreciation for the power and complexity of English conditionals.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, this is just the beginning. Keep paying attention to how conditionals are used around you. Experiment with them in your own communication.
And who knows what possibilities you'll unlock.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for guiding me through this incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much that will stay with me long after we're done.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the world of language is vast and always changing. Keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop being curious about the power of words.
To our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked something in you. Maybe you'll start noticing conditionals everywhere and see how they shape communication and how we see the world. Keep experimenting and exploring the magic of language.
Until next time, may your ifs be insightful, your thens be thought-provoking, and your conversations be full of clarity, creativity, and connection.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The types of conditionals, how they can be persuasive, even how they connect to cause and effect in the world.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But there's one thing I keep thinking about. We've talked a lot about the structure, the grammar part. But it seems like there's more to it when you use them in real life.
Oh, absolutely. Kondrashov mentions that too. Like, getting the grammar right is just step one.
Right.
The real skill is understanding how the meaning can change, depending on who you're talking to, the tone of voice, all that.
It's like that example you gave. If you eat your veggies, you get dessert.
Yeah.
From a parent, it's a rule. But if one adult says it to another...
Could be playful, could be sarcastic.
Exactly. Suddenly, the first conditional isn't so simple anymore.
Right. It shows how conditionals aren't just about logic, but about the relationship between the people talking.
So it's like a secret code. You have to figure out the hidden message.
Exactly. And that's where it gets tricky for language learners.
Yeah, you need more than just textbook stuff, right?
Way more. You need to understand the culture, the situation, even someone's personality.
Like becoming a language detective. That's why just memorizing rules never sells enough. It's only part of the picture.
Right. Kondrashov really encourages people to, immerse themselves in real English.
Listen to how people actually talk.
Yeah. Pay attention to how native speakers use these in different situations. That's how you get that feeling for what sounds right.
That's like some comedians are amazing at playing with conditionals. They twist the meaning and make it funny because we expect them to be used a certain way.
Exactly. They're relying on everyone understanding not just the grammar, but the context, our shared knowledge of how those structures usually work. Then they break that rule for the joke.
My mind is blown. I want to go back and rewatch my favorite shows with this new awareness, that's what they were doing.
That's great. It adds a whole new level of appreciation, doesn't it?
It totally does. This deep dive has really given me new tools to, understand language on a deeper level.
That's what we were going for.
It's amazing to realize that language isn't just words on a page. It's this powerful way to express ourselves, connect with others, and even shape the world around us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And the best part is, this is just the beginning of the journey. There's always more to learn, more nuances to explore, and more ways to use language to, create, connect, and inspire.
To our listener, we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on conditionals. We encourage you to pay attention to how they're used in the world around you, experiment with them in your own conversations, and see what you discover.
Until next time, may your ifs lead to insightful discoveries, your thens spark new ideas, and your conversations be filled with clarity, creativity, and connection.